Patrick Long, I know you're like, joke's on you. But look, you weren't really that good in ER. Okay, let's be honest. All right.
Wait, that was Dempsey.
Yeah, gotcha. Patricks don't like to be mistaken
right.
for the other Patrick.
Welcome back to the Dirt or Die Porsche podcast. My name is Duane, and I am here with JP. As always, JP, how are you tonight?
I'm here. I'm feeling better.
Are you? Yeah, you were on death's door right before Luft. You got extremely sick, and actually, I got the same thing you did because it was like this weird raspy voice thing right before, like a week before, and then you got it, and then that was the week of Luft, and then I saw you at Luft, of course, and you were like, we all went to lunch with our crew and Ben in LA, and you were like done. If I looked over, normally JP's normal happy self was kind of like, I mean, I was hanging on. You were hanging on.
I was hanging by a thread. Mm-hmm. No, it's true.
And then we were going to do a podcast last week, and you're like, my voice is still gone.
Yeah.
So
I had no voice the whole week after Luft.
Right, because you were yelling constantly, like screaming out of your window or something. Why? No, it was the sickness. Right?
It was maybe a little both. I don't know. Luftgekühlt. So what are we talking about? Is that what we're talking about?
This is
we're going to do a Luftgekühlt retrospect.
It is. I think
post-mort.
I think there's a lot to talk about.
Well, let's introduce Mental.
Oh yeah,
our producer today.
And every day.
No, sometimes you guys get Mikey.
When we're lucky.
Right. Every good day. Let's put it that way.
That's when we get Mikey?
No. I mean, yes. I mean, okay. Right. No favoritism. Should we start at the beginning?
Yeah, man. I don't know. Whatever.
Every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
I don't know. I mean, welcome to the podcast, guys. Hit the subscribe, like, notification button. Don't we have to do all that stupid podcast stuff?
You have to.
I don't know.
A guy who's YouTube savvy told me that you have to ask that every time.
Jeez, they tell us we're supposed to do that. We're recording in the Container Park in downtown Las Vegas.
Yeah. There's a party going on outside right now. I'm like, why is some guy talking on a microphone? That isn't me.
Honestly.
If there's talking to be done on a microphone, it should be me.
That is true. I concur. Well, you can, and if you've ever been to downtown Las Vegas, you know that we have a 30-foot praying mantis out in front of this facility.
That thing scared the living daylights out of me. As I walked up, a random fireball shot out of its antenna.
Well, before we get started on the show, I do want to plug, speaking of shows, SEMA is coming up here in Las Vegas from the 1st to the 4th, I want to say, of November. And we're going to do a creator party. Mental, can you get the big screen up there? Can you go to that? Can you split screen with the poster that we've got here?
SEMA is incredible. I mean, whether you're a car enthusiast or like
I actually cannot. It is not an option. It disappeared.
You can't get it on the screen. But what I was saying
I've got your regular Mac screen if you want to drag it down.
All right.
It's great for those who build cars. It's great for those who just love all things automotive. There's so much to see, so much to do. If you've never been to SEMA, highly recommend it, and bring your walking shoes.
Yeah. Can you see it now there, Mental?
Absolutely. It's up on the screen. There it is.
All right. Yeah. So the Dirt or Die Porsche podcast, SEMA Creator Party. It's going to be on November 1st. We've got Lane Skelton from DWA. That's an actual podcast that people watch to. He's awesome. Yeah. So some successful podcasters will be here as well as us. The Bid Nerds, Michael D will be here. Rami, of course, from the Rami Show, the namesake of our Rami studio.
Yes.
We'll have Tony Mazzagatti from 900 series on Mav TV.
Yep.
Of course, I'll be here from Cars Unknown. We'll have Mental Ward from Everyone Racers.
Star of the show.
The real star of the show. That's why everyone tunes in.
And buy him a beer.
DIY Mike from DIY Mike is probably going to pop in. And a bunch of other creators that we haven't talked. I think maybe Count from Count's Custom might be coming. I don't know. Cool. Shouldn't say that out loud. We don't know for sure. But if you are coming to SEMA, and you're going to be there at the convention center all day. As soon as that's over, come down here, have dinner down here. There's going to be food, there's going to be booze, there's going to be live music, there's going to be really cool cars. This is going to be a really cool setting. It's not, is it as amazing as something like Luftgekühlt? I don't know.
Yes.
It might be. This is a cool venue. It won't be nearly as big as Luftgekühlt, of course. But we have some really
by the
special
nature
cars.
of the space. It's smaller. So
yeah. It's really cool that the property's letting us bring the cars in, and it's going to be an awesome thing. But yeah, Luftgekühlt weekend in general was a whirlwind. I felt like crap. But you, boy, it wound up, all the hubbub. If you guys watched the last episode, we had some hubbub about whether or not Duane's car Duane's car was accepted. The rest of us were all a bunch of Luft rejects. And what happened, Duane? How was your car received at Luftgekühlt?
Is this the part where I start crying?
I don't know.
No, listen, I've thought about how do I express, everything that went on that weekend. And I think overall it was fantastic. It's always, I signed up for adventure, JP, and that's exactly what I got. And that's one of the things I love about my 911 is it's an old car. Every time you get in it, it's an adventure. Yeah. And my car is stupid low. Let's be frank. It's on 50 series tires. It's lower than it should be, especially in the front. It's kind of raked a little bit.
No, you know what? I'm gonna have to disagree. Your car is not stupid low.
No, it's not.
It's low. It's pretty darn low, but it's not like slammed. I mean, it's not even as low as my old 993 was.
It still has some sporty suspension setup.
And you've
I'm not
got
riding
50
on the bump
series
stops.
tires. That's not like 25 series tires or 30. You don't have any stretch and poke. You've actually got a little bit of sidewall there. You're running 15s or 16s?
15s.
Yeah, you've got 15s with sidewall. What are you talking about? The things you got clearance for days.
Well, not according to the rock I hit on Angeles Crest Highway. Yeah. On the backside. So I thought it'd be cool. From Vegas, I left like 5 a.m. I was going to meet a bunch of you guys up at Newcomb's Ranch. Yep. And actually, I was going to meet another group of people in Hesperia. Is that how you say it? Victorville, around that area. Yeah.
Shitholeville.
Yeah. I got up late. I missed that party, whatever. I took the back side up the mountain. I was having the best day of my life.
You were living your best Porsche life.
I was the only one on this road. And it was twisties, turnies. It was like 8 a.m., beautiful outside. And wham, just out of nowhere. And what did I say in that one podcast?
Well, I mean, that's the obvious question. Why did you not plan for whatever this was?
No, but I hit a rock. I hit this... I don't know. It's somewhere between a boulder and a rock, right? Yeah. Not quite as big as a boulder, but enough to do serious damage. And I wasn't even going that fast. I think I was going like 40, 45 miles an hour. Yeah. Wham, hit this rock. And it just the worst grinding noise, as it's stuck underneath the car. And of course... Well,
okay, hold on. That's interesting. Grindy noise. Was it metal grindy noise? Mm-hmm. Or was it like rock grindy noise?
It was rock on pavement. Yeah. But a little bit of... I smelled burning, which was disconcerting.
Mm-hmm. How long was the duration? Do you feel like when you hit that rock, you dragged it for 100 feet? Or was it like a clunk bang?
40 to 50 yards. So wham, hit it. Yeah. Hit the brakes and just... it's not going like normally you hit a rock, it kind of makes its way underneath.
Did it affect your steering? Did it feel like you pivoted up on top of it or anything like that?
I didn't feel like I was high centered or lost control, and I was lamenting later that I'm like, thank God a bike didn't, hit this rock. If you're on a bike and you hit this rock, you're dead. Yeah. So,
which is pretty common on the Angeles Crest.
Yeah. And so I'm that's my silver lining is that that's ego talking or something. I don't know, but I'm glad someone in a car hit it, and that someone is me. But long story short,
wish you had planned for it, though. I mean,
it was not a tire. Slacker. That was about a tire, I believe. I believe we were talking about tire blowouts.
And everything.
I have yet to have a tire or battery blowout.
All right.
So, I think Ben, the professor, hooked me up with his guy, his shop.
Hold on, wait. What happened? So you hit this rock. Yeah. Did your car fail at that point? Were you stuck on the side of the road?
So I hit the rock. I'm like the way that it felt. It was like the front end is damaged. Like I thought there was going to be a V in my front bumper, my valance, whatever. Maybe even the hood. The impact it sounded like I hit another car or something.
When you hit this object that you you failed to plan for. How big in your mind was it? Like, if you had to guess before you saw it, how was this a basketball? Was this a grapefruit?
I'm thinking like bigger than a basketball.
Okay, you
like,
think you hit
thinking
something
boulder
substantial?
Sized. Yeah.
Okay.
I dragged it for a while. Eventually, as I was getting close to the edge of the road, there happened to be a turnout right there, luckily. And I get to that turnout right when I get to the edge of the road. It must have been a little bit of a drop off. That's when the rock passed
Clears
under.
out.
Yeah.
Kind of like
the kidney stone.
Yeah.
You're on my wavelength, my friend. It's what you think about when you're 40 plus
50-year-old guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I get out, I immediately go to the front. First I look to see what I hit. And I had it on my Instagram. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I did. But I'm just trying to, not everyone saw your Instagram.
No. But I'm just saying, I wonder if you saw, like, you could see the line on the road where the rock was dragged. You could see the rock. I threw it over to the side. And I have the biggest hands on earth.
The point is, this rock wasn't anywhere nearly as big as you thought. I mean, this was not a basketball-sized object.
Correct.
This was like an apple.
No, I wouldn't say it was. It was probably like this, but pyramid shaped. It almost looked like
kind of a rectangle, right?
An 8 by 8 by 16, and someone had lopped off the corner, so it created like this. But it was an actual like piece of granite or whatever. So, I throw it off to the side of the road. I look at the front of my car. I see nothing. Like I'm expecting the balance to be like totally folded in or whatever.
So when you were driving down the road and this rock was in front of you, why didn't you go around it?
Yeah. Didn't see it.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you saying it's possible to not see obstacles in the road?
So, on the back.
That's weird. I feel like maybe I've been shamed for not seeing things on the road.
Listen,
that were much smaller.
When I said that, I was just playing devil's advocate. Look, I'm a realist. I understand unforeseen consequences.
No, you don't, and no, you're not. You're neither of those things.
No, I totally like when
now
you
are.
No,
see, this is the constant do or die question. Is Duane makes a position and then flip flops when everyone else was already there. Duane comes around eventually once he learns his ways. Okay,
you're proven right. So I guess you feel good because you're proven right.
To avoid this rock, and I do feel for you here. Okay, so you hit this rock, you discover, and so is there visible damage? Is
no
your
visible
valance
damage.
Messed up, or what do you think?
No gas smell, no visible damage. I'm like, okay, I dodged a bullet. Look around. I mean, my car I can't see anything under it, so it's not like get down on the ground. You're not going to see anything. Yeah. So I go about my business. I start to climb up toward.
Car's running fine.
The car's running great.
Didn't miss a beat when you hit the stuff.
Yep,
it's all good.
I'm totally good. And 10 miles later, I start to lose all power.
Before you get to Newcombs.
This is like 10 miles out of Newcombs. Okay. So it's like a 30-mile road.
Yeah, and you're basically east of Newcombs on the Angeles Crest, heading west.
Exactly. And actually, about a mile after that rock, huge rock slide with river rock style rocks all over the road. And I kind of slowed way down and went around that. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go up this side anymore in this car. But so I get out. I'm thinking it's carbs. I'm like, I know I've never driven my carbs up a huge mountain. So I don't know.
You're thinking at this point that the car problem has nothing to do with the impact.
Which is bizarre. Like, why wouldn't I think that this... Well, here's why. Because I know that when you get in high altitude, the carbs tend to get finicky.
It's true.
And that's kind of the symptoms I was getting is like losing power. These are all the things I'm remembering from reading about carbs and working on them the last 2 years or whatever. This is my first trip up a mountain. So I'm like, okay, the rock didn't seem to do any damage. My fuel pump's in the back on the 75. So I'm like, it didn't hit the fuel pump. There's also a skid plate under the steering rack where the fuel lines are. So there's no fuel. I don't smell any fuel. Yeah. It's not a fuel.
Well, we'll take a break. We'll find out what happened to Duane's car on the Angeles Crest right after this. Hey guys, I'm super excited to tell you about our sponsor, Guys Customs. That's Guys, Gyx, _customs. That's how you spell it. Guys Customs bracelets. These things are amazing. Check them out. They're handmade in America, custom bracelets made to match your watch or your car. These things are unbelievable. I have 3 or 4 of them myself. My partner Michael Deeb has a bunch of them. They're pretty addictive once you get one. Each one of them are bespoke. We're talking carbon fiber. We're talking titanium. We're talking stainless steel, glass. There's none of this cheap Chinese garbage that you see a lot of bracelets being made out there. These ones are super high quality. They're made right here in America. When you go to Guys Customs on Instagram, it's about the only place that you can order one of these. When you DM the artist, you're actually reaching the real artist when you DM Guys Customs at Instagram. And she will make you a bracelet made to match that special watch, that special car, or that special person that has a special watch or a special car and they want something really, really cool in their life. They make the most amazing gifts. I get compliments on mine all the time. Everywhere I go, people are like, wow, that's really cool. You can see in the pictures, these beads, the colored beads are PTS. They're paint to sample. So if you have a specific color code for your car, she'll have beads made that are specifically painted to match your car or your watch. It's unbelievable. You got to get one of these Guys Customs bracelets. Check them out. They support us, and we really, really, really want to support them. All right, welcome back to Do or Die, the Porsche podcast, with John Polnik and Duane Wik from Wik's Garage. Yes. Hey, have you checked out Der Faszination while you're at it? I mean, come on, we do all these other things. Check them all out. All right, so before we took a quick break, we're talking about Duane's car on the way to Luftgekühlt. We haven't even gotten to Luftgekühlt. I think we're gonna have to table Luftgekühlt for another episode.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think because
this is my story is too important for that. The people need to hear it.
Complete failure, I think, is what people want to hear about. So, I mean, you failed to avoid the obstacle in the road, and now and you wind up hitting a rock.
Yeah.
You pull over, and then you continue on. You still have at least 10 miles to go before you get to Newcomb's Ranch, where everyone is basically waiting for you. Yeah. And at that point, you start experiencing mechanical failures, intermittent
power loss,
which you fail to attribute to your this car impact.
It's so
the
obvious.
Thing you just hit.
Right. It's
your
so
brain
obvious,
is going through all this other stuff.
Why? I still don't understand my line of reasoning, but then no one else really, because I told my rock story a lot, and no one said, well, maybe you damaged the fuel system. So I'm goofing around with the carbs. I made it run worse. I stopped like 3 times. Actually, the car literally died a couple times because it was running out of fuel. So when I turned it off, fuel was, or when I would turn it back on, fuel pressure would build up, and then it would go for 5 more miles or whatever, and then it would die again because of fuel pressure. But anyway, so I limped to Newcomb's, and I'm thinking, something's not right.
Yeah.
Maybe
but it's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill, and actually, Mental Ward rode back with me on the way down, and we died 3 times. How long is that from Newcomb's to LA? Basically, about 30 miles.
That feels right. Yeah. And we were having that discussion. It felt electrical because it would just be a sudden cut.
Yeah. So what was happening?
Wait. So Mental, you're part of this failure as well.
It's actually all Mental's fault.
Much like Kevin Bacon, you can trace every failure to me usually in 4 steps.
All right. Mm-hmm. I mean, Kevin Bacon is 6, so yeah, that is a quicker path to
he's 2 up from
the failure. Kevin. Yeah. All right. Okay. So you guys are trying to get down the hill at this point.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about the hill is because I'm not pressing the accelerator, I'm just coasting a lot of times.
Yeah.
I'm not having that fuel pressure problem. But the car would still die. So eventually I would run out of fuel. So I think that's one reason why we thought it might be ignition.
Yeah.
And I had a previous problem with my Pertronics, which is kind of a Chinese made ring with magnets. The magnets can separate inside the ring and you get timing issues. So that's what was happening in my mind. I'm like, that Pertronics ring is going south on me.
Yeah.
I need to replace that. So, yeah, we get to what happened after that? We went to it died right before we got to the lunch spot, and then
I mean, so when you're going down the hill and you're cruising along, are there other Porsches behind you? Because I mean, if anybody's ever been on the crest, especially on like Breakfast Club on Fridays,
right,
you know, people
aren't.
They're not putzing along. People are cooking. People want to get up and down that mountain because that's the whole reason they're there. Are you holding people up? Are you finding yourself going in a corner and then losing power? I mean, that's dangerous in a 911. Are you experiencing these types of problems? Or at this point, are you just like, you know what? I'm experiencing the car isn't running right. I'm just going to putz down the hill. And did you move over when people were coming behind you? How did you handle that?
We left late, and so there was no one behind us.
Wow.
Yeah.
No one tried to pass you.
No one behind us. All the speed racers had
we
left.
had one of the times we pulled over to poke at the engine.
Right.
A few folks went around us. You were actually kind of keeping pace with that pale blue.
Oh yeah, we were chasing a really sweet. I don't even know what year it was, but I could see the tail end of it.
Yeah.
Some kind of long hood, I think.
Kind of a RSR kind of wannabe thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's Dale. He's slow. Different Dale. Not our
okay.
Dale.
I was like, that was Dale?
Or, I'm
Okay.
sorry, not Dale. What am I saying? Barry.
Oh, okay.
He's notorious for never get behind him if you want to move. But anyways, very nice guy.
Oh,
Bye,
so
Barry.
you're saying he's okay?
Yeah.
Anywho's. So yeah, we get to lunch. Whatever. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Take it to a shop. The shop feels like ignition. Let's change out the coil. Or no, yeah, the coil.
How the hell did you find a shop on a Friday during Luftgekühlt weekend?
The professor pulled some strings,
Really?
and I want to shout out Nico at Sublime.
Oh, those guys are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was awesome, and he's like a true enthusiast. He's got a 911, and you know, so that right there tells you that it wasn't the easiest to diagnose.
Yeah.
Like he played around with it for 4 hours.
Holy cow.
Yeah, we swapped out the
And you told him you hit a rock.
Man, I'm pretty sure I did, but
yeah,
if I may not have. So, I mean, you know, when these things happen, your mind is kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So
it's true. I
not.
I give you a hard time, but this is exactly why I pushed back so hard when you were giving us your whole if you plan ahead you should never. It's like man,
look, there should have been a subtitle.
Have you ever driven an old car before?
Purposes only.
Jeez Louise.
Purposes only. Except for I stand by the jumper cables. I stand by that till the day I die.
I can't wait for the day your battery fails on you with no. Okay, so
it'll probably be soon. I mean,
yeah. At this point, the karma's a bitch. All right, so you've got, professionals trying to figure it out. I mean, that's got to be just incredibly frustrating.
That's Friday.
You're going, this is Friday. The whole weekend has that
impending deadline of the greatest Porsche show on earth, and I am a silly Uber enthusiast, right?
For the record, everyone, Duane got his custom license plate in Nevada that says Luftgekühlt.
Yeah.
That's how much of a dork he is.
I mean,
I have a podcast called Big Nerds. You're a much larger nerd than I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's not based on the show. That's just because it is air-cooled.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wait. What?
Oh, you're going to say I'm backtracking on this?
License plate. This is just so much Patrick Long butt kissing, but whatever.
I got a Patrick
really good
Long
on
story.
I got
a Patrick Long story.
Well, we'll save that for a different thing. All right, so
a good one. He's a good guy, and props to him for. Here's my sycophant.
Yeah, sycophant. Okay, so your car is broken. It's in the shop.
Oh my god,
what do
that's
you do
Friday.
Now? This is Friday.
That's Friday.
Did you leave the car there, or what'd you do?
No, I'm like. All right, it's running. Me and Nico, we took it around the block. It's running great. He's like, this car's freaking rad. He's like, I'm like, this guy can drive. And so he's like, seems good. I'm like, okay. I'm in. I don't even know.
You guys basically did nothing but tinker with it.
Right.
And God, there's nothing worse than when you have a mechanic and you can't replicate the problem.
Disposal, yeah.
God, I hate that. That's the worst part about cars, especially classic cars.
I was way out. I don't even know. Where's Sublime at? Do you know?
I bought a car from Nico
far.
once. Yeah, it's out there. Yeah. by that lake.
I'm like,
Lake
all right.
Elsinore, right? Or not Elsinore. What the hell? Well, who cares? Whatever. It's in LA.
I'm like, it's time to get over to JP and the boys.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I didn't stay with you guys after all.
You dipped out on us. Yeah.
Which is
He's
actually
too good for us.
was good because tell us how the Airbnb sucked.
The Airbnb we got was
horrible.
Such a piece of
and they
trash.
wanted me to sleep on a couch. I'm 6'6". I'm like, I'm not sleeping on
the
a couch.
couches were pretty big.
Were they?
Mental isn't exactly a short guy. How was the couch, Mental?
No. The couch was probably one of the better parts of that Airbnb because the rest of it.
I will tell you, because I slept on one of the beds the first night, and I would
Mhm.
way rather have slept on the couch. That
I
was
saw
one
you the
of
next day,
worst.
and you're like, my back.
Oh, dude,
hurt.
I couldn't
Yeah.
walk. And then so I switched to one of the other rooms because Rami didn't get there that first night. So he, I straight up, because I know Rami, he's bougie. I was
Mhm.
like, dude, you don't want to stay here.
Mhm.
So he went and got
You
someplace.
saved him.
Yeah, so I saved him for that. So I, stepped up to the better bed, and then so that was better, thank God. But yeah, I was in such poor shape. I was so ill. I thought by the time I got there, I was on the back end of it. I thought like, okay, Thursday I'm still feeling it crappy, but I'll just go and by Friday I'll be fine. Boy, was I wrong.
And
Sorry
the
about
bed
that.
did you in.
And the bed
Like,
effed me
yeah,
so
she
hard.
just
Friday
popped
night.
a bunch of drugs at
Oh,
that point.
dude, I was
Legal drugs.
I'll
What's
jump
that?
in here and say it was actually the schizophrenic air conditioner that turned
That didn't
your
help.
bedroom
yeah.
into a fridge.
Mm.
He's in the meat locker.
Well, that's the
shivering.
worst, right? You're sick. That was the thing. Is that like the temperature on that stupid Nest thing?
Mhm.
74, 75, 78, whatever. That's all fine. You got it. It's like 75. 75 with air conditioning versus 75 with heat are two different things, right? So I was just like, it just was blowing cold air on me. So I'm having cold sweats. Whatever. Who cares? Whatever. So your car.
That's why I didn't stay there.
Yeah. So you got your car. You didn't
so I
come
had to
us.
go to Long
you got
Beach,
so you had to
'cause
go
I'm-
all the way to Long Beach at the.
I
That's
called the
way
Doubletree
far away.
Hilton. I'm like, hey, you guys got a room? They had sold out because
Mhm.
it's right next to
Sure,
the venue.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we got a room. Which actually, that room, not much better than where you stayed. There was a party until midnight on the first night. The second night, there was like a barking chihuahua, like the next room over.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Good
So
times.
anyway, I get on the freeway. It's
Meanwhile, we had barbecue.
Yeah, I
that
will say
sucks.
going to, like, you took the Macan there, Mental, right? And you and Chef and Jason drove down to Long Beach. Our friend Peter hooked us up and like gave us like so much barbecue.
Mm.
5 guys ate for 2 nights
Nice.
off this barbecue. Do you remember the name of the restaurant, Mental? That was some damn good barbecue, and I feel really terrible that we don't know the name of the restaurant.
And I'm from Oklahoma, and it is good and proper. It was good, proper,
It was
slow
real deal
cooked
barbecue.
barbecue.
Right, and
Yeah.
all
It
the
was-
trimmings, like this, like cornbread that was basically corn cake, and the
corn
garlic
cake.
mashed potatoes, and he was all like upset. We had Chef in the house,
Mm-hmm.
who is
Hey,
a
chef.
chef,
Mhm.
right? And Peter's calling him, make sure you don't put the butter in the garlic mashed potatoes because they already have butter. It's like Chef doesn't know what he's doing. Why are you calling Chef, giving him like cooking instructions?
Chefs
Okay.
are like that, though.
The house sucked. We had a bunch of people in there, great guys, great group of guys, and we ate really well. So that was great. Okay, so your car.
I miss the camaraderie for
Yeah.
sure, but I was like, I need to sleep because I'm going into the world's greatest car show, and I want to be prepped. I need my beauty sleep for that.
Yeah.
Well,
you also need a car. So
And you need
what
a
happens
car.
now? So now you get. So you
well,
linked
wait,
it all
so
the way
I'm-
to Long Beach.
yeah, I died. So this is rush hour LA on
Ugh.
a Friday night
Ugh,
at like 5:00, and I'm
that's not fun in
Oh
a
my
car
God,
that
it
runs
was
well,
terrifying.
and that's not fun in a Tesla.
you know how anybody
It's not
who's-
fun in a Macan GTS
right.
with 2 great
Automatic.
people in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. PDK,
You know, people want you to be bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
If you're gapping, you're messing up in
Yeah.
LA. Like, people are gonna like do everything they can to get around you because it's frustrating.
Yeah.
My car would just straight up die, and the
Oh.
car in front of me would be creeping away. I'm like, I would play it cool. I would just cut the ignition. I would coast and just be like, okay. And then
Holy cow.
I would start it again,
Yeah.
and I would build up a little fuel pressure, and I could keep going. I did this like a dozen times probably to get to Long Beach.
And your anxiety level at that
Oh my
point.
God. Like,
is
I'm a
just, like,
chill dude,
creeping up.
right? But
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's
buying a 992 at this point. I mean, this is how you like screw this. Like, screw
I had
the
that
classic
thought.
thing.
I had
like,
that
this
thought.
is
I was like,
bullshit.
what am I doing in this classic car? Like, I mean, I lived in LA for 5 years, so I know you don't get on the freeway at 5 on Friday.
Yeah,
that's just stupidity. But
from
I was like,
West Hollywood,
to go to Long Beach. Like, come on. I'm gonna go faster. So made it to my hotel. Reached out. A bunch of people reached out and said, hey, I want to help you. I've got gas tanks. I've got ignition systems. I'm like, cool. Let's do this. I'm going to make this show. Jack Schroeder, hero of the weekend for me. Like, he reached out. He's like, listen, man, I've got my studio. It's in downtown LA. Unfortunately, I'm in Long Beach. Come by tomorrow. We'll get this thing knocked out. We'll work on it until we get it done. I was like, sweet. So
that's pretty solid, man.
Oh, the dude was, he's amazing. So that's exactly what I did. The next morning I get up. The car only died, I think, 2 times on the way there, which was, and there was light traffic because it was Saturday morning.
Saturday morning's great in LA. Saturday and Sunday morning is fantastic.
We work on my car for like 10 hours straight.
Oh my God.
We all new ignition that I bought from this gentleman that reached out to me. Like, I bought a 123 distributor, a new MSD 6AL ignition, and a new coil. I had 3 brand new coils in my car that weekend.
Holy cow.
Swap it all out. Car's running great. I'm like, it's like 5 o'clock. Jack has, been working on my car.
It's running better than it did before.
It's running amazing.
You got some more power.
I'm like, I'm making the show tomorrow. This is awesome. Like, I got to hang out and work on cars in this cool like fashion studio in downtown Los Angeles with Jack, who's just a really cool dude.
Yeah.
And I leave his place. I get on the 110 again, 5 o'clock. Like on the 110 where it meets the 10. It's probably one of the busiest roads in America.
Worst,
right?
Yeah.
It's like
that's the falling down
Atlanta, New York City, and like the 10 and the 110 in LA are like the 3 worst. So the car straight up strands me, like, it's where 2 freeways merge. So I'm like, there's 6 cars that way, there's 6 cars this way, they're all coming together, and I find this little island. It's the triangle where it merges. Coast over there, and I just kind of sit there for like 20 minutes, just thinking. I'm like going through this like checklist. Call a tow truck in rush hour.
Yeah.
Right. You won't be here for like 2 hours or an hour probably
at best. If you're lucky.
Start it and take my chances, knowing that it's going to die again in rush hour. Wait for a cop to harass me or something. I don't mean like I'm going through all these scenarios. Yeah. I decide I'm just gonna
So hold on, mental. Is this all karma for ditching his friends and besmirching his buddies,
the good name
who were like, I mean, all of us were all friends with Duane. Duane just basically said, "Screw all you." I'm friends with Patrick Long now.
No, it wasn't.
I know
because it was effort. There's no hate in my heart. Now, if there was hate in my heart,
that the most popular show of this podcast was the one where you just abused him.
Yeah.
For
keep abusing
the duration of the show. Driving down Angel's Crest with him, you truly begin to appreciate how really chill Duane is.
His bad guy never thinks he's the
car is
bad guy.
malfunctioning, and he's deliberately taking it slow, and we're just talking about everything. I can't go with it's karma for the Luftgekühlt thing.
My man.
I can go. It might be a bit of the coyote trickster. Look it up. For him feeling so proud about getting accepted and being utterly prepared for anything that might come his way.
Except for a rock.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think abandoning all your friends is a far bigger
I hung out with you guys.
Karma problem than
I needed a bed.
He bought me a beer at the show.
Then a little bit of
I wasn't abandoned.
Being too proud. the big question that I didn't ask before was, what were you afraid of for hanging out with us instead of We'll save that for another show. That's
nothing.
He hung out with us at the show.
Yeah,
He did, of course. No,
yeah.
By then,
I was
at that
not
point,
afraid of anything
because at that point his car didn't make it
on.
into the show. So he's like, "Well, I guess I'll hang out with my Luftgekühlt friends." Since my car isn't here, if my car was here,
one of them was
I
Robbie.
may have ruined my
Robbie
chances
was not
for
rejected.
shows anyway,
What's
because
that?
I may have ruined my chances for future shows because I had a conversation with Patrick.
Yes. Okay.
Two,
Let's
actually.
go ahead. Let's
So-
talk about that. So what happened?
No, I got to finish my car story.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Um,
Let's continue with Dwayne's car story.
it'll be quick.
And
Almost
Dwayne,
done.
I'm giving you a hard time, but boy, I feel bad for you because I've been there.
Well, yeah,
being that anxiety of having
Yeah.
a car that you love when you're stuck in the middle of everything, and I know like all the money and time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears, and then you had all this help from someone and the emotional highs and lows at that point.
Right.
You were in this valley. Your car didn't work. You had the help of this, this wonderful angel
Mm-hmm.
came down and said, "I will help you overcome this problem." And at that point, you're like, "Man, I have a savior." You do the work, and you think you've overcome this thing, and you're high. And now to immediately be in the worst situation that you've been in the entire weekend.
Right.
This is just wow. So I'm sorry for giving you a hard time. I'm going to continue to give you a hard time, but I really do feel bad for you. That must have sucked being in that
I
traffic
appreciate
jam.
it. So listen, the whole time I never got down on myself because it's a car show for Porsches. You know what I mean? Like, this is the biggest first world problem of all time. My
classic car.
Was there
Right.
something more than a first world problem,
Yeah.
like a 0.5
Yeah, this is
world
beyond
problem?
first
Yeah.
world problem. This is so privileged. Like, so ultimately I was like, you know what, this has been something that I've been working for, and it's really, really cool to get the admiration or just to be a part of that very, very select audience.
Mhm.
And not getting that is just, it's a buzzkill, but ultimately the show was amazing.
Yeah.
The people, the friends, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
was
Luftgekühlt was a whole lot of
fantastic.
fun. We'll talk about Luftgekühlt,
Yeah.
I think, on another episode. But at this point, your
let me
car's
finish.
broken
Yeah.
down. Do you get it? Do you go back to the studio?
So,
What do you do with the car?
Yeah, so I'm like a mile from Jack's as the bird flies, but it's like
but in
30
LA, that may
minutes.
as well be an hour.
30 minutes to get back to his place,
Yeah.
or it's an hour and a half to get to Long Beach at that
So
point.
do you call him and tell him, "Hey, it failed again" at this point?
No, I was like, I need to find an exit. And then I punched in his address in the GPS, and then I just rolled in, and
So it
I
started
didn't
up
tell
again,
him.
and you took off, and you
yeah,
made
it died
there with
3-4 more times, and
Yeah.
like I nearly crapped my pants a bunch of times, and
Oh,
I'm driving down like Skid Row. Like, he lives
Sixth
adjacent
Avenue, yeah.
to Skid Row
Yeah, it's
in
downtown
LA, and I'm like, in my little Porsche. So
Everything downtown is Skid Row adjacent, but fair enough.
right. I get back to his place. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I want to go to Kinesis, the show in Compton,
Mm.
and if you want, we'll find a gas tank." Because I think something happened.
So you figured it out that it was a gas tank at that point?
Yeah, maybe Jack can fill in this part of the story, but maybe I didn't tell him about the rock, and then I told him about the rock, and he's like, "Did you check the gas tank?" And then we checked the gas tank, we put up on jack stands, and that's where we discovered this, huge, not huge. I mean, it's just a scrape, but it hit right at the most inopportune part of the gas tank, right below what's called the swirl bowl. There's two little pipes that come in right there. On the 75, the pipes are right next to each other. On later cars, they're like further apart.
Oh, really?
So on a 77, I wouldn't have had this problem.
Oh, wow.
On a 75 to whatever 69 or whatever it is, it's right there. So we discover that, and he's like, "Listen, man, I want to go to this show. Let's hop in my car. Let's go to Kinesis," which is what we did. His car is amazing, by the way. He has a 3.2 short stroke, which is one of the best air-cooled motors that you can build. Unbelievable. Like, he's got PMO 46 or 50s on there, and it's carburetors.
Nice.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so, and Targa, we had the top off. It's LA at night. So I was like, this is nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cabriophobe
was actually enjoying a roof.
It's not a cab.
Roof,
it wasn't a cab.
Roof. Oh yeah. A Targa isn't a cab. He's like, I'm okay.
I have
with
a 914 now, so I'm in the Targa club.
All right.
So again, another version of me flipping because now that I have a Targa, I'm cool with them.
It's true.
I met Tom Perazzo, knew him from online, but he's a fellow YouTuber, and he was at Kinesis. But from there, I Ubered to my hotel and left my car at Jack's because he's like, listen, we can go back. We can try and fix this at 10 o'clock at night and burn the midnight oil for the show the next morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I didn't want to die a bunch of times and limp it into the car show. There was pride, or because I pride myself on my car running and driving and working properly, and not having old tires and not having whatever, I'm just particular about that. So I couldn't take that car into that car show in its current condition mentally. I left it in LA, downtown LA, which was like, an hour away at Jack's. And that's where it got towed back to Vegas like 5 days later.
Yeah.
So I went to Luft, enjoyed myself, and got a ride home with Matt Miller Strong.
Ah, okay.
So in his GT3.
GT3, nice.
And it actually hit on a closed course the top speed I've ever been in a Porsche.
Oh.
And it felt like we were driving a minivan. I mean, it's so smooth.
Those things are way too capable.
That's my sob story, JP. And
you're not the first to have whoa on the Angeles Crest. The Angeles Crest is a dangerous place to be.
You got to respect the crest.
Yeah, as they say.
Just this week, they had to pull a car up the cliff, and the driver didn't make it.
Damn.
I mean, I gotta think that happens almost every other week up there. It is one of those places and it always seems like, professor runs are always particularly dangerous whenever he has them on the crest. Our old friend, rest in peace, DT Derek Tennisalichai.
Yeah.
The first time he wrecked his 89 911 was on that pass. Our old friend Israel Hernandez was in a Boxster. He swerved to avoid a huge rock and started fishtailing, and DT had no place to go but into the guardrail.
My friend Ken hit a rock and totaled a car on Angeles Crest.
Yeah, I mean, it just happens. On that same exact run, Paul from Godden Porsche, the general manager at Godden Porsche, came out with us for Luft 4, which was same location as Luft 8. And he had that slant nose turbo 911, and somewhere near, and it's always the backside too. It's always past. Well, it's not always, but
more
past Angeles Crest is pretty dangerous up there. A lot of rock slides, a lot of stuff, debris in the road. And he had a rock that took out the fuel pump on that car, and he had to leave it. He had to leave a $200,000 car on the side of the road. And then it snowed later when he went back up there with a trailer. He couldn't go up there.
He's like, I can't go up the road.
There was another guy in a slant nose that lost the whole front nose of his car. I mean, it's just like, look, that road is freaking dangerous. It's just one of those things.
But like, people are telling me, so are you going to trailer your car out there? No.
You mean to Luft?
Yeah.
Well, why not? The cars are just sitting there.
Well, let me clarify so I don't have to backpedal on this.
Here we go. All right, let's note this so that in 7 episodes now, he can he can.
The show car I'm building, the wide body, I would trailer that.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be built like a race car with 15-inch wide slicks in the back.
Yeah.
I'm not driving that from Las Vegas to wherever,
Yeah, but
I'll
you
drive
would probably
it in town.
drive it. Yeah, you would trailer it to town and then drive it around.
Absolutely.
Trailering a car in that you drove to the city and then it broke, trailering it to the show, there's no shame in that. The car broke while you're in town and you drove it all the way there.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would have given you a hard time. In fact, to that point,
No,
we're just talking about DT.
Yeah.
At Luft 4, he wrecked his car. I mean, it was total.
Yeah.
And he trailered it. He's like, my car's in the show. I'm bringing it to Luftgekühlt. And it was probably the most photographed car at Luft 4. I mean, It was just right there at the entrance. And everyone was giving him kudos for it. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
I mean, there were so many times, after the fact that I was like, why didn't I just limp it into the show? I mean, it was semi-running. I think maybe all those times dying on the freeway and in scary situations, I was done.
Yeah.
I was like mentally like, I can't drive this car. I'm taking too many chances.
Yeah.
Someone's going to hit me or I'm going to cause
at some point it's not going to start again.
Right. And I'm going to totally be stranded. So I was like, I'm pushing my luck.
No, I get it. Well, there's always next year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
That's the thing about Luftgekühlt. You don't know there's going to be next year. I mean, is it going to be on the East Coast? Are they going to try to bring it to South Carolina again? Or, would you make the cross-country drive? Who knows?
I heard a rumor real quick.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, scoop, guys.
I don't know if it was supposed to be at that location.
What you mean? Luft 8 wasn't supposed to be where it was?
What? What are you saying?
That was a last minute, like, we lost our.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah, because think about it. They don't repeat.
You've just been loop rejected for that.
Yeah,
I'm always going to be loop rejected. So
I probably am too, one way or the other. Whether I reject myself or.
I didn't even get to drive an air-cooled car to Luftgekühlt. I had to drive my Macan because both my air-cooled cars were in the shop. My poor 86 backdate has been...
I heard.
Oh, man,
I heard
the electrical
through a friend
system
of a friend.
on that. Oh, so bad. Yeah, so, the whole wiring, the entire wiring had to be rebuilt on that poor car. And, but I do have the gold, Campanola wheels on there. And I'm really excited. And frankly, I was, all the shit that you gave me about not pictures of not my car with the Luftgekühlt sticker on it that were photoshopped, not real. I'm like,
still,
F it. I'm going to do it. At this point, I'm going to pull the stripes off and I'm going to put a big, huge gold Luftgekühlt down the side. And the next Luftgekühlt, when it comes time to submit my car, I will submit my car with a Luftgekühlt with a 4-foot Luftgekühlt logo on the side. I'm doing it. Patrick Long, I know you're like, joke's on you. But look, you weren't really that good in ER. Okay, let's be honest. All right.
Wait, that was Dempsey.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrong
That's a whole other joke.
Okay.
See, the Patricks don't like to be mistaken for the other Patrick.
Which you did in your thumbnail.
In our thumbnail.
Right. Okay.
That's another dirt. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Make sure you hit the subscribe, like, or notification button if you haven't already. We're trying to do this every, a couple times a week. Sorry we've been gone for a couple weeks. There's Luftgekühlt and a bunch of other crazy stuff going on, but we're back at it. We're back in the swing of things here at the Rami Show or the Rami Studio in downtown Las Vegas, and really do appreciate you guys watching the show. We know there's a whole lot more people watching the show than are subscribing, so what the hell, man? Get on there and hit that subscribe button. We are a bunch of little nobodies out here in Las Vegas.
And come to the creator party.
Oh, yeah, that's right. If you're coming out for SEMA, make sure you make to the creator party and come and look, you can come and give us a hard time. You can be on Team Duane or Team JP. And
he's the glittery vampire. I'm the wolf dude.
I am very glittery. I get that a lot.
So pick your side.
I get that a lot. Yeah, someone's been in my pants. All right, guys. We will see you next week. End this show for crying out loud. Jeez Louise.